What's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to rank the members of the Thunderbolts team from the latest MCU movie. So I saw a few other people doing this video and I thought that's a good video idea, and I do really want to talk more about this amazing film, and one of the things that makes the film so amazing is the characters, and so that's who we're talking about today. I'm gonna rank all 9 main characters in the film, not just the Thunderbolts, but a couple of other characters who stood out and had an important role in the movie. So let's just jump in and get started. But before we do, spoiler alert is in effect. If you have not seen Thunderbolts, first off, what the heck are you doing? Why are you watching my video? Go watch it, it is phenomenal. And second off, of course, don't watch this video if you haven't seen Thunderbolts and don't want any spoilers. Or if you don't care, just keep watching. So last place for me is unfortunately going to be Taskmaster, or Antonia Dreykov. I don't know why the poster says that she is a Thunderbolt. She's not. Unfortunately, she gets killed by ghosts. She gets shot in the head within like a minute of her first appearing in the movie. I was really hoping we would get more development with her character because she was cool in Black Widow, but really nothing interesting about the character, just kind of a controlled assassin. So I was really excited to hear that she was going to be in this film, but they do nothing with her. They just completely waste the character. So I really hope they do the proper Tony Masters version of the character, because Taskmaster I think is a really cool character, at least from other stuff I've seen him in, so I think this character deserves to be done justice. But that's why Taskmaster is unfortunately in last place. I don't like it, but that's the way it is. That's like the only negative about the film. Next up at number 8 is Mel, and if you don't remember who that is Valentina's assistant. The only reason she's here is because she's throughout the whole movie. She does way more than Taskmaster, of course. She stays alive the whole movie. Really nothing interesting about her character, though. She's just Valentina's assistant. I don't recall anything she did that really stuck out to me or was interesting or that I connected with. So, she's really nothing to talk about. Maybe we'll see more of her. I don't know. But that's why she's here. Hey guys, Future Ryan here. Real quick, wanted to make a little note because after doing a little research, I found that it is speculated that Mel is actually potentially the character of Melissa Gold, aka Songbird, which makes her much more interesting to me. Now, I don't remember ever hearing her last name was Gold or that her full name was Melissa. I only remember hearing her be called or referred to as Mel. I don't remember seeing her full name on any papers or anything, but if this is Melissa Gold, I really hope they make her Songbird eventually. Really hope we see that happen in the MCU. In light of this new information though, she's still in number 8 spot because really doesn't do much in the movie, not very interesting in the movie, but this new information, if this ends up being true, makes her much more interesting. Next up is Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. Now this character is, I guess maybe could be considered the villain of the film, maybe? But because she does a lot of stuff that's just like, ooh, I don't like her. She's really like, ooh. Like, she seems very selfish and just trying to manipulate situations to get the best outcome for her out of it. And so she's very, you just don't like her, but she's very entertaining and fun to watch. That's why she's in this spot. I did enjoy her character. She's one of those characters that you just love to hate. She's annoying and selfish and unlikable, but in an entertaining way. So I really enjoyed her character in the film, but that only earns her the number 7 spot. And now we get into our new Avengers, and starting off we have, unfortunately, Ghost. Now, I enjoyed the character in Ant-Man and the Wasp. I enjoyed her as a villain because I think she had a very, not a typical villain motivation, which is she just wanted to get better. She has this condition, she's going to die, so she just wants to get better, so I thought that made her a really interesting villain, and I was excited when they announced that Hannah John Kamen was going to play the character again in Thunderbolts, but unfortunately she's like the only Thunderbolt that doesn't really get anything emotional, or there's no really connection formed with her. She's just a part of the team throughout the whole movie. There's really not much to her. I enjoyed her character from what we got. We didn't get as much as I would have liked. She has a cool power set though. I think, what's it called? Becoming intangible and invisible is a really cool power. but that's really all there is to her currently. Maybe we'll get more with her character, but as of right now, she didn't go up on my MCU characters list that much in this film. Then we have John Walker, aka US Agent, and when he first appeared in the film, I was like, oh, I don't like this guy. I just want to punch him in the face the whole time. He's just such a jerk. I mean, he had some funny moments with, I loved his relationship with Bob. I think that was funny at times, but most of the time, he is just really a big jerk, and I didn't really like him. But we do get some emotional moments with the character. We find out more about what's currently happening to him, his wife and child leaving him because he's angry about, he's reading that article about the fall of a hero, and he's not the new Captain America. He's junior varsity Captain America, as Valentina says. But that does make you feel more, it helps you care about the character more, it gives you more of a connection to him, and so that's why he's here in this spot. And come the end, I did like his character more. I like when he's in the void encouraging Bob to fight, and he's part of the group hug at the end, hugging Bob and trying to help him at the end, let him know that he is cared for and that they're going to be there for him. So that's why he's above Ghost. Honestly, if he just stayed a jerk, though, I think Ghost would have been above him. And then next up, we have Bob, who I found to be a very interesting character and a very, very relatable character. The two characters I related to most in the film were Bob and Yelena. I don't think they did a good job of entirely explaining what happened to him and how he is the Sentry and so powerful and everything. Or maybe I just missed something, or I'm not understanding it, but I really enjoyed his character. Not really much connection to him because he does have the memory loss and all that, but I do relate to him when he's in the void, and the void is telling him that he's alone and making him revisit all his past trauma and everything. I really relate to kind of feeling how Bob felt, and I just love how at the end the whole team comes together and supports him and hugs him and tells him he's not alone and he's a part of the team by the end. I love that. Thought his suit when they made him the Sentry was really cool. Yeah, so he's in this spot just because I find him more interesting. I relate to him much more than John Walker, and I'm interested in seeing what they do with him going forward, because I've heard he has a pretty significant role, and I think Lewis Pullman did a great job in the role, and I'm excited to see more of it. Number 3 is gonna be the old Santa Red Guardian. He was just the comedy relief character. He had some of the funniest moments in the film, and I just love the father-daughter relationship with him and Yelena. I just love when they're walking through the desert and he shows up in his limo and he's like, "Yelena, it's your dad," and she's like, like the embarrassing father-daughter dynamic I thought was hilarious. And when they're driving and he's talking about her soccer game and all that, and she's just like Yelena's just so embarrassed. I just love that so much. And I just love in the third act when Yelena and him are having that conversation and she says, "Daddy, I feel so alone and I have so many regrets," and then he talks to her and comforts her and says, "You only focus on the bad, and when I look at you, I do not see your mistakes." And then they hug, and I just love that moment. It pulled on my heartstrings, almost teared up. I think this character was handled wonderfully in this film. Of course, that makes me excited to see more of him. David Harbour does a great job as this character. And now our runner-up is going to be Bucky, I always forget, he's been around. He's been around in the MCU since like 2014, that's crazy, but actually he's been around like a couple years before that, because I always forget for some reason. He was in the first Avenger. Just because he wasn't the Winter Soldier doesn't mean he wasn't there. We all know him as the Winter Soldier, but he was in the MCU even before he was the Winter Soldier. So he's been in the MCU since, 2011, 2012 is when Captain America, the First Avenger came out. So I just love how they handled his character in this film. I love how he's gone on that redemptive arc, and because of that, he can help the Thunderbolts who are on their redemptive arcs, who are trying to change, who, like him, have done terrible things, who have regrets. He knows where they're coming from. He says in the film, "I've been where you guys are," and I just love that, how they did that and helped him, just made him relate to the Thunderbolts, helped him be a very sympathetic character because he understands where they are, and I just love how they make him and Yelena kind of co-captains come the end of the film. I just love that. And Bucky's just always been, you know, when he wasn't the Winter Soldier, just nice, funny guy and cool guy. And I just love the action sequence where he's chasing down the Thunderbolts and he like grapples the car and like pulls it and causes it to flip over. I just thought that was such a cool sequence. I'm happy to say that in this film, Bucky is still a really good character. But Bucky, you can just step aside for a second, because number one is probably one of my favorite fictional characters of all time, and that is Yelena Belova, played by the wonderful Florence Pugh. Me and my coworker this morning actually were talking about how Florence Pugh is such a great actress. I haven't seen her in much. I want to see her in more, but all the things I have seen her in, I've really enjoyed her characters. I think she's so great. She's so cool, she's so funny, and that's what she is here, and she's also very emotional. Like I said, I relate to her and Bob the most. Yelena is definitely the best post-Endgame new MCU character. Kate Bishop is like right on the tail, but Yelena just edges her out. I love her character. She's emotional, funny, cool, just like I said earlier. This really is Yelena's film. This really should be called Yelena and the Thunderbolts or Yelena and the New Avengers. She is the heart and soul of this film, and I just love how they made her the main character. That's one reason I was so excited to see it, because I loved her in Black Widow and in Hawkeye. I just love this story she's going on. This redemptive arc she's on about having all those regrets, like I said earlier when I was talking about the scene with Alexei or Red Guardian, and I just relate to her so much because I have regrets too. I have done terrible things in my past. I haven't killed anyone or anything like Yelena, but I've done some things that I'm very ashamed of. I wish I hadn't done, and sometimes I struggle to believe I can change like Yelena. And I just love her relationship with Bob and how she's like, I'll be there for you, and like I said in my review, go check it out by the way, I really appreciate that. I love how she goes into the void and goes after Bob and tells him that, I don't know if the darkness will ever go away, but I promise you I will make it lighter. Oh my gosh, I just love that scene. She gets, I think, the best lines, the best jokes. She's the most well-developed new MCU character. By the end of this film, I was like, she's one of my favorite fictional characters. Florence Pugh's just great as this character. She knocks it out of the park every time I see her in this role, and I cannot wait to see more of her. I hope she has a great long stay in the MCU, and come the end of this new multiverse saga, I hope she sticks around. I hope we get to see way more of her. And I love how she initiates that group hug at the end when Bob is trying to fight against the Void, and she just hugs him first and tells him that you're not alone, directly countering what the Void is saying, just telling him the truth and trying to fight the lies that the Void is telling him. I feel like I've had moments like that with Jesus, you know, I've believed these lies. I've gone through times where I felt like there was this voice breathing down my neck telling me everything I was doing wrong, telling me that I'm alone, I can't change. Jesus has just been there for me, telling me that I'm not alone. He's given me great friends and family that have shown me and told me the exact same thing, and that's what, you know, Yelena and her scenes in this film remind me of, and that makes her number one for me. And with that, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Leave your ranking of the Thunderbolts characters down below. You can include some of the other characters that I did, or you can just talk about the new Avengers. I love that these are our new Avengers, loved that reveal at the end. Super excited to see more of these characters, especially in the next two Avengers movies. I believe that's the next time we're gonna see them. So yeah, leave your ranking of the Thunderbolts cast down below, and explain why too. I think it's much more interesting when you explain why a certain character is where they are and why you have a certain opinion about them. Thank y'all for watching this video. Go check out my previous video, my official Thunderbolts review, and give your thoughts on it as well. I love to talk about this movie with you guys. And with that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Ta-ta!